Hello everyone, my name is Ankur Kaushik. I've got rank 37 this year in 2018. Earlier in 2016 I got a rank of 485. I was working as an IRTS probationer in Railway Traffic Service. So this is the end of my journey possible like for good. I'm most probably getting into IAS. So like I would like to start with beginning of how my journey was from 2016 to 2018. I graduated in 2015 from NSIT in computer science. Then in 2016 I did not get that much good marks in mains. In essay I had got 136, in interview I got 149, GS was average, public administration I had got around 300 marks back then in 2016. I skipped my 2017 attempt. Then in 2018 I improved my marks in essay from 136 to 151. Then in public administration again I got 300 marks, and then also interview I improved from 149 to 171, hence the rank of 37. So in essay, since I have scored good and I was a student of GS score test series of essay, you could see my test series which are uploaded on the website. So I would like to tell something about my strategy for essay, which I did different from last year. So in 2016 I had not attempted much essays, I had just written no essay in fact completely. So this time I wrote 3 essays in GS score, and also I had practiced 5-6 essays on my own. I had got them checked from my peers, taken their views on how I write and what should I improve upon. So that's how I improved my essay writing. First is that you should write more essays. Don't write like 20 essays, at least you should write 7 to 8 essays. So get them checked from faculty or where you have joined your classes, or your friends who are into services or who also write well, who have scored good in their previous attempts. Get your essays checked from them, work upon the reviews that they gave, what views they have given and what comments they have given. And also an essay, I really feel that your intro should have an impact on the examiner. It should be slightly different so that it piques their interest, what next is coming. So for that what I did was, I had prepared a set of poems. I'm myself a poet, so my hobby is poetry. So I prepared a set of poems. I think whenever I attempted a essay, like if you go on GS Score website, my essays have been uploaded. I have written poems there as well. So I started my first essay with a poem. My first essay was on border dispute management. So my essay started with the poem. The poem started with the perspective of a soldier. It was border dispute management. So I wanted to cover in intro part what disputes we currently have, where disputes. So instead of mentioning states or regions where there are disputes, I started it with the perspective of soldier, how a soldier has to guard the country even in desert, even in snowy, in ice cold areas, even in coastal areas, how he sees just water for many days, how he is deprived of his family, of his home. So I started with the perspective of soldier. So soldier was a very hot topic back then. Soldiers are always a hot topic. So what I did was, so that it really piques the examiner interest, like how would he take further essay from there. So I started with perspective of a soldier, mentioning all, like for Rajasthan I mentioned deserts, didn't mention Rajasthan right in the face. So I mentioned with deserts, and after the intro part, then I mentioned what issues we have, like political issues, economic issues, trade issues, disputes, cultural issues, because we have some areas like in northeast we have cultural affinity with northeastern countries, so there are disputes there as well, Maoism is there. So I started with that. So for essay, and the second essay I wrote on how past is a permanent value in our conscience and present, like something like that. So that I started with an anecdote and a question wise format, like what is past. So I defined the past may mean many things for many people. For some it's history. For individuals, past may be a day before, maybe many years before. So I started with question wise. So my 2 essays were, first I started with a poem. That was my introduction. Second essay I started with a question format, like what exactly is past. So that's how I started. So make your essays not very similar. Make slight changes in their entire write-up. Obviously content would matter, but intro, make them, don't write poems in both or don't write anecdotes in both. Make sure that first essay is somewhat different from your second essay, it is not a repetition of everything. Secondly, what I want to say is, in essay last time I had not covered much dimensions. This time as also Manoj sir taught in class, you have to cover many dimensions. There are model answers available For every essay I wrote in GS Core, there were model answers available. So I saw how they had covered various dimensions. So similarly, you should know that if an essay comes, suppose on gender empowerment, there was an essay in 2016. So you have to work upon many dimensions there, like why gender has not been empowered. So you could go with political, economical issue, cultural, so religious issues. So you have to cover many dimensions. Make a structure. As soon as you get the paper, as soon as you pick your options, start making a structure. For 15 minutes, just make the structure of what you are going to write in essay, how you are going to cover it, how you will write the intro, what you will write in the conclusion, because that structure would matter most when you are writing the essay in the exam hall. Because in 2016, I remember I had not made any format for my second essay, and I really got only 136 marks. So this time I've got 151 marks. So these are the things that I did. Also my notes are there in Market for Ethics. There you can see that I had written some poems in that notebook as well. If there was a question, I had some ready-made poems. So that, because poems really give a feel-good factor and really pique interest of the examiner, ki what next is coming. So make sure that your essay has some advantage to it. It's not a very normal essay. Make it, because essay is a very scoring subject. So that was what I did for essay. In PubAd, I have scored 300 marks. In 2016, I had done some crash course of 15 days. GS Core had started a program. In 2018, I didn't go for it. It was good. So what I would like to say is, in public administration, I'll start with sources that I referred, which I don't, which I think that are not that told by many people. So I read Social Theory and Development by Mohit Bhattacharya. I'd never read New Horizons of Public Administration. Read Social Theory and Development and also New Issues and Perspectives in Public Administration. Very good book. Then there is a book by Stephen Robbins on organization behavior. Very good book. Just you have to just read 10 topics which are there in your syllabus. Read them from that book. Make sure you mark the important ones. There are very good diagrams given in that book. Make sure you know those diagrams. So when there is a question asked in the paper, you can replicate those diagrams. That was the thing I wrote. Then second ARCs. I read almost 10 reports from cover to cover. I did not go for summary, never read any summary. So I had read those reports, marked the important ones, and then made sure that any test series I go for, wherever I write my test, I'll make sure that I mention those ARC reports recommendations. ARC reports are very useful. Then also visit Niti Aayog's website. Niti Aayog website has 2 columns which I would like to mention. First is research papers, reports and publications. So there you can go for various reports, like there was a report on law and order, which was very, very useful. If you read law and order from there, you can also skip fifth report from second ARC. Very good report, just 45 pages. Then also for GS, there was a report on agriculture. Go through that. If you find any reports which are useful for your GS or your optional, especially public administration, download that, read that, make notes from that. That would really be helpful. And the other thing was, what I did was, I gave almost 6 papers this year, public administration test papers. Last year I did not, I just written 1 paper. So make sure you write enough papers that you have confidence you are scoring good. And if not scoring good, you get comments, you work upon them. I scored only 97 in my first test paper that I wrote. In the end, I got till 150, but make sure you are improving gradually. So don't be bogged down by marks you get. And then for paper 1, these were the things that I read. And then there was a essay by Jones on budgeting. It's basically a review of the books written by Aaron Wildavsky. It's a 45 pages essay again. Make sure you read it. It has covered everything on budgeting, on financial administration, on types of budgeting. It is a very good essay. So you can just type Jones budgeting and you will get that essay. It's a PDF of 45 pages. You read that, make notes from that. And for second paper, what I did was, like, I prepared quotes from quotes on my own. Like, I went to a website named Chanakya Blogspot something. It had sutras given by Chanakya. For example, Arthasya Mulyam Rajya, Rajasya Mulyam Artha. So those are the quotes that if there is any question in paper 1 which asks about financial administration, I could quote this sutra by Chanakya, which would provide me benefits, like it would connect it directly to the paper 2. Kautilya is a part of paper 2, and it would also fetch you marks because that's very relevant, and Chanakya is a very revered figure. So that was the things that I followed in public administration. And rest, there was also a report on report by Carnegie Mellon Institute, I guess. It's called IS Meets Big Data, published in 2016, late 2016. Very good report. Just go through the executive summary. It would really be helpful. And also one more thing that I did differently was, since I did not have much time on my hands, I was there on EOL. I came late. So the thing that you do is, whatever test series you are writing, every test series, every institute would upload the top first copy there of the current series previous year papers. Go through those previous year papers, make sure you write what you think are very good points given. For example, while in GS Core, sir had mentioned to read essays of Khushbu Lathar. So I read those essays of Khushbu Lathar, they were available on website. Those very beautiful essays really helped me. So make sure whatever test series you are writing, you go through the answer copies, best copies of that. For every paper, especially your optional, your GS essay paper, for every paper you should go on the website and look for better answers, people who have scored more than you. Make notes from that and keep it revising. So that was how I prepared my public administration. So those were my key points on my journey in public administration. Wishing you luck, good luck, all the best. Thank you.